So phones nowadays don't need cords or long external antennas to receive a signal, but have you ever thought about how much it would take to stop that signal? Bury it a couple feet underground? Well, if you have the right material, you don't need a couple feet or even a couple of inches. Less than a fraction of a millimeter will do. To figure out what kind of material that is, we will start with talking about what cell phone signals are. So in the last video, we mentioned that light is an electromagnetic wave, but we didn't really explain what that means. So let's dive into it right now. Light is called an electromagnetic wave because it is made of something called electric and magnetic fields. Fields aren't something you can see, but rather they tell you how much pushing or pulling a magnet or electric charge would feel in an area. I'm sure you've felt a magnetic field before. For example, if you hold two magnets close to each other, they can either push or pull together. This is thanks to the magnetic field. An electric field works very similarly. When two electrically charged particles are brought close to each other, there's an electric force that attracts or repels them. So electromagnetic wave is an electric field and a magnetic field that move together. So light is an electromagnetic wave, but so is the signal that your cell phone receives. And it turns out that materials called conductors can redirect these waves. Conductors are materials that electricity can travel through easily, like a metal. Think about how electrical cords have thin strands of metal inside to let the electricity travel through. Well, what if we make a sphere out of metal? Well, it turns out that there are positive and negative charges inside any material that usually balance each other out. But when an electric field, like a cell phone signal, passes through, these particles can move freely around and will arrange themselves on opposite sides of the conductor, and this effectively cancels out any electric field. This means that there is no electric field inside of a conducting sphere. So if you were able to surround your cell phone in a conductor, you could prevent the signal from actually reaching it. Let's give it a try. Here I have my friend's phone and I'm going to use it to call myself. So you can see my ringer is on. So my phone works. Well, here I have some aluminum foil. This is a thin sheet of metal and thus a conductor. Now I'm going to cover my phone with it. Nothing else has changed. I'm going to try calling myself again. So you can hear that it's ringing, but the call isn't going through. Because aluminum foil is a conductor, it can stop the call from coming through, even though it is less than a millimeter thick. So technology needs to be designed keeping this in mind. Here's the electromagnetic spectrum again. All these waves are different: radio waves, X-rays, Wi-Fi, infrared, etc. And they all show up in different areas of technology. Any device that receives a signal, like a cell phone or a laptop, needs to be designed such that the signal will not get blocked. So you wouldn't be able to have a cell phone with an entirely metal body. No signal would be able to get through. So older metal cell phones had a plastic piece at the top to allow the signal to pass through. Human beings also conduct electricity. You may notice that if you hold your cell phone a certain way, you may lose some signal. This is called a death grip in the electronics industry. Now, it's not about holding it tightly. The name is a little misleading in that regard, but the name comes from the fact that it kills the signal to your phone. Electronics must be designed in a way that the antenna won't be covered by someone's hand at any point during normal use. We can demonstrate the death grip by conducting two internet speed tests, one done normally and one done while covering the top of the phone with our hands. The speed should be about double when the top is not covered. Understanding electric and magnetic fields can be very helpful because they're found in many different industries. Optical and electrical engineers have to know a lot about these fields in order to make sure that electronics work the way they intend.